Good afternoon everyone, it's the 17th of September 2025. We are back with another episode of Tropical Outlook, and in the Atlantic Ocean we finally have our new tropical cyclone. Tropicalstorm Gabrielle has just been upgraded by the National Hurricane Center. It's now officially the 7th named storm of this Atlantic hurricane season. Aside from that, we also have a new disturbance moving across Cape Verde with a low chance of development over the next 7 days. So the headlines is of course Tropicalstorm Gabrielle, which is located in the tropical Atlantic, currently with winds of 45 miles per hour and minimum pressure of 1006 millibars. So we're looking at a low-end tropical storm, perhaps mid-range tropical storm here, and it's located at 17.5 degrees north, 46.6 degrees west, moving north-northwestward at 22 miles per hour, which is pretty fast in my opinion. And here's what it looks like right now. Definitely not your typical tropical cyclone visually. It's very elongated and stretched. There's nearly no convection developing at the western side of the system, and quite a lot of them flying up towards the eastern side. And you can see the little swirly structure, which is the low-level circulation center, is quite exposed. In fact, it's moving further away from the higher cloud tops in the last couple of frames, which indicates that the system is affected by strong wind shear. Aside from the wind shear, let's look at the humidity here. You can see there's a large area that is colored in black in the middle of our image here. That represents dry air in the atmosphere, and those dry air are currently infiltrating Gabrielle quite heavily, particularly in the western side of the system, hence why we're not seeing any convection flying up there. And this situation is expected to remain over the next 2 to 3 days, which is going to make it difficult for Gabrielle to have any form of significant intensification. In addition, we can also look at the wind shear graph. You can see Gabrielle is sat right in the middle of the red spots, up to 40 knots of wind shear, which is really barricading it to organize itself properly. Sea surface temperature, it's perhaps the most favourable condition out of the bunch at the moment. 28 degrees where Gabrielle is at, even higher towards the west, up to 29 degrees there, so it's definitely going to benefit Gabrielle's development as it tracks towards the west over the next few days. So with all that said, here's what we expect from Gabrielle. It's going to steadily track towards the northwest, not expecting any intensification in the next 48 hours. That's because of the terrible condition out there. And then after that, it will enter a more conducive environment, and that will allow Gabrielle to further intensify into a Category 1 hurricane in after 96 hours perhaps, which is obviously quite far away from now. So if it does follow this track, we can pretty much rule out any impact on the Caribbean islands, because it's going to track straight towards the northwest, curving away from those land. But we do need to be watching out for Bermuda, as Gabrielle could make a pretty close approach to that region next week. And here's what the computer models are seeing, pretty similar to what we just saw, a track towards the northwest to start with, then a little bit towards the west after the next 48 hours, but then the high pressure will again steer it towards the north again. Most models do expect a pretty close approach to Bermuda, one of them even expecting a landfall there. So that's something we will be continue to be monitoring. So this is the European model forecast, thus expects Gabrielle to be quite elongated over the next 2 days. Interestingly, thus expected to actually lose tropical storm status by Friday. So they're expecting the environment is going to be so bad that Gabrielle wouldn't even be able to maintain, its current intensity. And not until next Monday, the European model are expecting it to regain tropical storm status. Then it will obviously gradually intensify until a more conducive environment. Similar to other models, we can see a track pretty close to Bermuda again from the European model. This is the disturbance near Cape Verde. Not a lot going on right now, low chance for both 2 and 7 days. Computer models are generally not too supportive for this system to develop. That could change because we are expecting the condition in the tropical Atlantic to improve over this week and next week. So still keeping an eye out for the system. In the Atlantic Ocean, the next name on the list is Humberto, followed by Imelda, Jerry and Karen. 7 tropical storms so far has formed this season, one of them being a Category 5 hurricane, famously known as Hurricane Irwin. One landfall recorded in the US this year. It came from Tropic Storm Chantal. That is made landfall in South Carolina, I believe, as a weak tropical storm. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.